Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this MLK Day of 2021. So, regardless of what's going on in our outside world of politics and civil discord or civil disobedience or learning how to be civil with each other, I wanted to spend today really focused on not only MLK, but his colleagues and the whole movement, really, which is ongoing for equal rights, civil rights. And I thought today that I would go back to a letter which was published last July. It was written by John Lewis, Representative John Lewis from Georgia, who, of course, had marched with Dr. King. I think he met him for the first time when he was 15 or 16. He was inspired to join the movement by the death of Emmett Till. At the time, John Lewis, as I recall, was 14, and Emmett Till had been 15 when he was lynched, murdered. At any rate, I'm reading from the New York Times opinion page back in July 30th of 2020. And it says, Mr. Lewis, the civil rights leader who died on July 17, wrote this essay shortly before his death to be published upon the day of his funeral. So these are John Lewis's own words. I'm going to take time now to read them. They speak for themselves. I don't think they need any comment, except I would invite you to hear them through the ears, see them through the eyes, the lens of what's been happening and continues to unfold for our nation as we lift up the life and teachings of Dr. King. Mr. Lewis writes, "While my time here has now come to an end, I want you to know that in the last days and hours of my life, you inspired me." He's writing this to us, an open letter. "You filled me with hope about the next chapter of the great American story when you used your power to make a difference in our society. Millions of people, motivated simply by human compassion, laid down the burdens of division. Around the country and the world, you set aside race, class, age, language, and nationality to demand respect for human dignity. That is why I had to visit Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, though I was admitted to the hospital the following day. I just had to see and feel it for myself that after many years of silent witness, the truth is still marching on. Emmett Till was my George Floyd. He was my Rayshard Brooks, Sandra Bland, and Breonna Taylor. He was 14 when he was killed, and I was only 15 years old at the time. I will never, ever forget the moment when it became so clear that he could easily have been me. In those days, fear constrained us like an imaginary prison, and troubling thoughts of potential brutality committed for no understandable reason were the bars. Though I was surrounded by two loving parents, plenty of brothers, sisters, and cousins, their love could not protect me from the unholy oppression waiting just outside that family circle. Unchecked, unrestrained violence and government-sanctioned terror had the power to turn a simple stroll to the store for some Skittles or an innocent morning jog down a lonesome country road into a nightmare. If we are to survive as one unified nation, we must discover what so readily takes root in our hearts that could rob Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina of her brightest and best, shoot unwitting concert-goers in Las Vegas, and choke to death the hopes and dreams of a gifted violinist like Elijah McClain. Like so many young people today, I was searching for a way out, or some might say a way in, and then I heard the voice of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on an old radio. He was talking about the philosophy and discipline of nonviolence. He said we are all complicit when we tolerate injustice. He said it is not enough to say it will get better by and by. He said each of us has a moral obligation to stand up, and speak out. When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state, it is an act. And each generation must do its part to help build what we called the beloved community, a nation and world society at peace with itself. Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting in what I call good trouble, necessary trouble. Voting and participating in the democratic process are key. The vote is the most powerful, nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society. You must use it because it is not guaranteed. You can lose it. You must also study and learn the lessons of history because humanity has been involved in this soul-wrenching existential struggle for a very long time. People on every continent have stood in your shoes through decades and centuries before you. The truth does not change. And that is why the answers worked out long ago can help you find solutions to the challenges of our time. Continue to build union between movements stretching across the globe because we must put away our willingness to profit from the exploitation of others. Though I may not be here with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. In my life, I have done all I can to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love and nonviolence, is the more excellent way. Now it is your turn to let freedom ring. When historians pick up their pens to write the story of the 21st century, let them say that it was your generation who laid down the heavy burdens of hate at last, and that peace finally triumphed over violence, aggression, and war. So I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide. What more can be said than to you has been said. I'm going to end today with the Downtown Presbyterian Church in Rochester's choir, leading us in singing, Lift Every Voice and Sing. I'll put the music on the screen so that you can follow along with the words. This is important not only because it is the unofficial Black national anthem, and we must honor that for millions of America, this has much more meaning than the Star-Spangled Banner. But I put it up here because every one of us, if we can be honest with ourselves, we have contributed in one way or another to this song or to lifting it up now as something positive and unifying. And really, if every single one of us is honest, there is a part of our own story, our own ancestral story, that resonates with this. We must come together and lift every voice and sing. Thank you for joining me with this prayerful pause with the pastor. I'm Pastor Deb Swift of South Presbyterian Church in Rochester, New York. I look forward to seeing you next time. Stick around for the song, and then go with God. Be safe. See you next time. Bye for now.